the mixed martial arts, if I'm successful in the mixed martial arts, if I'm winning fights, if I win championships, then people are paying attention to what I'm doing. There's an audience out there. There's, you know, there are people that are ready to hear, they're willing to hear, willing to listen to what you have to say. I feel, I'm not a fighter. I'm not in this for personal glory. It's kind of interesting being, it's kind of cool to be recognized, for the people for people to recognize you, and it's nice to be acknowledged for, your skills, that your achievements. It's nice to be acknowledged for that. But I'm not in this for the glory of it. I'm not in it to be rich, for the attention. I'm not, it's hard to say. I just have this sense of something. It's like it's behind everything. It's a sense that this is what I need to do. I have to do it. I need to do it, so my voice will be heard. For some reason, I just have this idea, and maybe it's that, delusions of what, grandeur, delusions of, I don't know. I have this idea, though, that I need to be able to make my voice heard, and I can do that through the fighting. I can be heard. So that's why I fight. That's my motivation. Just make my voice heard. I'm consciously, I'm going for it. I want a belt. I want the belt again. I want the championship again. The UFC championship, because I think it's going to give me a platform from which to speak. It's going to make my voice heard. And there are a few things I'd like to say. I'd like to be heard. Being a champion's a way to get a message out. It's not just winning a belt, strutting around, hey, look at me. It's a way to get a message out. And if you have I feel that I may have some things that might be useful to some people, might have, I have a few things to say. Yeah, there's so many things in this world so many things that need to be changed, so many things that are wrong. And if you can make your voice heard, you can stand up for these things, you can speak out on these things, and people are going to listen, people are going to hear you, and you can affect change, you can make things happen, you can improve the world, you can make the world a better place. That's my motivation behind fighting. Not self-glorification, not fame, not money, women, any of it. God, what's the best way to say this? I can stand up for these things that I believe in. I can stand up. I can speak out, and I will be heard. I can change the world. That's my motivation. I can change the world. The power of one. Believe in the power of one is I guess it's a motto, it's a saying, it's a phrase I've used for quite a few years. And what that means, it's not it's on my website and everything. I've worn it on shirts. It's not a self-glorifying thing. It's not like, hey, look at me, believe in me, look at all this, It's what it is. It's one person can change the world, and what it means is, and believe in the power of one is believe that one person can change the world, and believe in that in yourself. Believe that you can, even as a single individual, you can change the world, because your words and actions resonate out eternal in a sense. Through it reaches one, it reaches two people, it reaches four. It just expands out exponentially. And we need to take responsibility for that power we have. Make sure our actions and our words are worthy and they stand for something. The greatest works are built with the smallest materials. I mean, like the Taj Mahal, it didn't just bam. It's an amazing work. The pyramids, amazing. But they're put together with little pieces. They're all put together with little pieces. To change the world, it takes little actions by each individual every day. Those little actions add up to a great work. So it's those little things, and that's another thing. It's hard for people to think just a small action that they're taking, the small little choice they make during the day is gonna make a change in the world. But again, because if everybody takes that responsibility, takes that small action, all that it adds up. It's a little brick and a great work, a great work. What changes would I like to see in the world? Well, that's a big question. I'd like for everybody to, get less. Everybody's so caught up in themselves and caught up in, what everybody can do for them, and what the world can do for them. I think it should be opposite. It should be everybody's focus should be a 180 reverse. What is it that I can do? Not what can you do for me, but what can I do for you? And I think if everybody kind of lost, in a sense, lose yourself to gain everything, quit worrying so much about yourself and you'll have everything to gain, what the world's about is, it's about all of our, we're all family in a sense, we're all brothers, and not in a hippie kind of way, it's just, what the world's about is your fellow humans, what good would it be? What if you're the only person on the world what if you had all the belongings, all the fancy cars, fancy clothes, all these fancy things we desire that everybody's dedicated their lives to gathering, to themselves. What would all that matter if there were no one else around to share it with or to show off to, The world's about our interactions with our fellow humans and what kind of enjoyment that brings us. Some people misdirect it and think they need these fancy things and all these material possessions to get that interaction or to, that's not what it's about. But if everyone could just switch it though, not what can you do for me, what can I do for you, basically. I think the world would be a different place, be a cooler place. Well, when I was younger, I was, even though I kind of, I think I had some understandings of the true nature of things, I think I was still caught up in what I was taught from birth. You're in the womb, you're hearing it, the radio, the television, all these ideals, these improper ideals, these improper ways of living. I feel all these things you're taught from through the media. You're taught these. This is the way to live. This is what if you're a successful human, this is what you do. This is what, you own this. You have this job. You make this amount of money. You run with this crowd, and if you do that, you're successful. And I was caught up in all that. And a lot of that is marketing. It's driven by products. It's product driven. Dogma, teaching. I was caught up in that, thinking like, to be successful, I've got to go to college, and I've got to go to school, I've got to get my diploma, I've got to go get my degree, then I've got to get a job, I've got to climb the corporate ladder, I've got to, wear these kinds of clothes, I've got to drive this kind of car, so these type of people will like me, and then if these type of people like me, well, then I'm cool, I'm accepted, I'm a success in life, and we forget the things that really matter, and it took, I followed that path for a while, and I found success, in that realm, and I kind of stepped away from all of it, I got rid of all, most of my belongings, I have what I need. I have, the things I have are nice. I don't need, I don't need to gather a bunch of stuff together, a bunch of material possessions. It means nothing. I kind of, in a sense, you have to lose yourself to find yourself, and losing everything, you find the things that really matter. And once again, it comes back to your fellow humans and your interactions, your truthful, sincere interactions you have with your fellow humans. That's what gives life meaning, in my opinion.